Minnesota, 1998. A blue state, but not so blue that a Republican can't win, exhibited by numerous statewide Republican officials. So when the governor's seat opened up, it was immediately competitive. The Democrats nominated Skip Humphrey, son of Minnesota's arguably most beloved politician, former Senator and Vice President Hubert Humphrey. Skip himself was a very popular attorney general, winning the office 4 consecutive times, in landslide after landslide. On the Republican side, there was popular mayor of St. Paul, Norm Coleman. A Democrat as recent as 2 years prior, Coleman was a bit of a moderate, conservative but not too extreme. The up-and-coming Coleman was polished, and he had a solid track record from his time as mayor as a Republican in a liberal city. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's this guy, Jesse Ventura. He was like an actor or a professional wrestler or something. So Humphrey and Coleman went at each other, debating different local issues like, how should the state spend their budget surplus, or should the public finance a new stadium for the Minnesota Twins?
The Twin Cities would be a cold Omaha without professional sports. So
we
do
got
you have a
great
plan to try and
professional
save
sports.
them?
We got a Vikings team that's going all the way to the Super Bowl.
Make this field goal, the answer should probably be yes.
39 yards away, and it's not good.
Coleman tried to paint Humphrey as the same old career Democrat trying to raise your taxes, while Humphrey accused Coleman of being too cozy with big business and not looking out for the working man.
Straight tax dollars for that, for all of his corporate cronies.
Pretty standard stuff. Up next were the debates. Jesse Ventura actually weirdly polled high enough to make the stage, which is pretty funny. But anyway, Humphrey made his case.
Education is the centerpiece. It always has been. It's been the successful point of our heritage, and it will be the opportunity point for our future.
And so did Coleman.
Aggressive government action is aggressively cutting taxes.
Ventura weirdly didn't crash and burn in the debate.
Take a look, $4 billion of surplus. Democrats and Republicans spent it. I was the only candidate that stood at the steps of the Capitol saying, give that surplus back.
Ventura also started airing some ads.
New from the Reform Party. It's the new Jesse Ventura action figure. You can make Jesse battle special interest groups.
I don't want your stupid money.
And party politics.
We politicians have powers the average man can't comprehend.
Okay, so it looks like Ventura might be a slight factor in all this. So for Coleman and Humphrey, it's important to get Ventura to take votes away from the other candidate. Whoa. What? Whoa, wow.
Now it's 1998.
No way.
And the
No
American
way.
dream lives on in Minnesota.
Wait. What? What is happening? What is happening? So what did happen? Well, let's take a closer look. Jesse Ventura was born named James George Janos in South Minneapolis. He grew up in Minnesota and went on to become a Navy SEAL in Vietnam. After leaving Vietnam, he became a professional wrestler, changing his name to Jesse the Body Ventura.
These championships are ours, Vern Gagnon, Bashan. And we'll go down all the way to Cleveland, all the way.
He appeared as a WWF villain for 13 years before announcing his retirement in 1986. This is also when Ventura started his acting career, appearing in films like Predator and The Running Man. Both of his characters were muscle-bound alphas with a thirst for violence.
This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me.
And in 1991, Ventura became mayor of his hometown, Brooklyn Park, beating a 25-year incumbent. So after a brief stint in radio, Ventura decided to run for governor of Minnesota. Sure, he started out low in the polls, as most third-party candidates do, but from his public persona and his pretty creative advertising.
Let's win this thing.
We demand a man who speaks his mind.
Jesse Ventura.
Darn right.
Not some suit who only toes the party line.
I don't play that game.
He got enough support to make the debate stage. Okay, so let's play a game. Who catches your attention more? This guy?
It was proposed, by the way, there was an amendment, the Macklin Amendment, that, by the way, went before the Minnesota legislature, passed by a majority of Democrats and Republicans, really laid out that standard.
This guy?
Number one, as governor, I'm going to go down to Washington and I'm going to pound on those desks and I'm going to take on this federal government and we are going to get that Medicare formula straightened out.
Or this guy?
Jesse Ventura accepts no PAC money whatsoever. Jesse Ventura is not owned by special interest groups. My two opponents can't say that. November 3rd is no longer an election, it's an auction.
Ventura!
See, that's what Ventura was able to do. He painted his two opponents as one and the same. Career politicians, suits, talking heads, people that will only say what you want to hear, or worse, what their donors want to hear. Even though in reality, Humphrey and Coleman weren't the same at all.
Skip, are you willing
first
to
of all,
consider
I
competition?
love this. This guy worked for me for 10 years. When you were on our executive committee, I didn't hear any of these complaints, Norman. I didn't hear any kind of objections to what we were involved with.
Hello?
It didn't matter. Ventura was able to differentiate himself. He spoke his mind, clearly not using any talking points. He didn't take money from special interests. He still coached freaking high school football.
Jesse didn't get elected so much because he was a former pro wrestler or a talk show host. It's because people felt that he was really much more like them than these other two guys were.
Absolutely.
As a result, Ventura did the one thing all politicians try to do, but only very few succeed at. He came off as genuine.
I mean, the people of Minnesota have basically made me the most powerful man in the state. So remember that when you come there.
But Ventura also became known for the policies he campaigned on. He wanted to return the government surplus to the people of Minnesota. He pondered publicly the idea of legalizing drugs and prostitution. He said there should be no public dollars toward a new Minnesota Twins stadium. In essence, he was a social liberal and a fiscal conservative. So Ventura went from a sideshow to an interesting alternative. A lot of people thought we've been doing the same thing for years, Republican, Democrat. Why not try something new? After all, why am I forced to pick between only two options? Why just because I want lower taxes do I also have to be against gay marriage? And finally, the last ingredient to Ventura's hot dish of a candidacy: creative marketing. Ventura worked only with $300,000, much lower than the millions his opponents had in their coffers. So he used the talents of outside-the-box ad man Bill Hillsman.
Strategically, the other things we knew that we needed to do were to develop these types of commercials that were going to contrast Jesse as a normal person against the two career politicians he was running against, which was really a choice between vanilla and vanilla.
In order to stretch each dollar as far as he could, Ventura did not run any negative ads, but instead created funny, unique, and absolutely bizarre commercials and radio spots.
A man who will fight to return Minnesota's budget surplus to the taxpayers.
And since it was a three-way race where you didn't need a majority to win, that turned out to be enough. Ventura won with 37% of the vote. But even after having said all this, Jesse the Body, or Jesse the Mind as he liked to be called now, his win was still a shock. So much so that his wife Terry wept at the victory party because now they would have to be the first couple and her family life would be completely upended. Ventura's tenure as governor went on to be mixed. He got a few things done. He returned the budget surplus to the people in the form of tax rebates, he changed the state property tax code, and he completed a high-speed rail system in the Twin Cities. He started out with high approval ratings, but those eroded over time as he got the reputation of not being fully committed to his job as governor, and scandals came out about his son throwing parties in the governor's mansion. He ultimately decided not to seek re-election, citing the unwanted media attention toward his family. Unfortunately, Ventura went more toward the fringe later on, letting the pursuit of conspiracy theories take up most of his time.
I'm Jesse Ventura, and this is Conspiracy Theory.
But nevertheless, there was a time, in 1998, when Ventura really did shock the world by running a campaign that truly spoke to the American values of showmanship, celebrity, the self-made man, earnestness, brashness, and, quote, telling it like it is.
November 3rd is no longer an election, it's an auction.
So what happened in the following decades? Was this a sign of things to come? The beginning of a new era of third parties with social liberalism and fiscal conservatism? Not really. To replicate this, you need Ventura's personality. Big, brash, and genuine, with a reputation built up from years in the public sphere. That's the only way to break past the idea of being a fringe candidate. You have to run a great campaign that differentiates you from the other candidates with an ability to market yourself. And finally, you need to be in the right time at the right place. For you to win, people have to already be craving something different. But what can't be denied is that Jesse Ventura, the wrestler, the actor, created a template for any future celebrity to use if they ever wanted to shake things up in the political arena.
Well, I agree 100% with Jesse. It's disgraceful.
I got a big truck, just in case I need to round up criminal illegals and take them home myself.
Thank you everyone for watching. These videos take about 40 hours to make, so please like and subscribe. It means a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, tell me any other elections you'd like to see covered. Thanks again, guys. See you soon with another video.